I'll start with LLMs. They are going to significantly displace a lot of the software work that's done today. It's going to happen. A lot of the lies that we tell ourselves about our jobs not being disrupted are things that we're telling ourselves to feel more comfortable. It's going to take a little while, but I think that the basic reason for that is that it's a hell of a lot faster to have an answer that's mostly right most of the time for most software purposes than it is to have to engineer something precisely.
I don't disagree from a very specific perspective. Like, I feel like perhaps if I look at LLMs through the lens of like it's a new kind of compiler, I think I would agree, right? It's kind of like when we first got compilers in general. It's like, yeah, all the assembly programmers kind of, all disappear. But it fundamentally changed how we built software. And I think LLMs will likely do something similar, but I think it will, in fact, push us to actually do more of the design stuff we were talking about earlier in the episode. So I think, we just don't do that right now. When we just do a lot of the typey, and then we just don't do any design. So I think it'll push us to actually design things better so that this thing that can get it right most of the time, we can give it and it can spit out something. And then we can be like, is it right, by looking at the design? Because right now, the problem is it spits out something and you're like, is it right? And you're like, well, what is right? And we have not defined what right is. So we have to be able to define right. And that feels like when we'll actually get to the point of doing software engineering. Because I still hold that we are not really doing software engineering because we are not doing design. We just build software. That's it. We don't really design it. We don't have our design docs are mostly implementation docs, right? We don't sit down. We don't do the things that other engineering fields do to actually design the thing. I have unpopular opinions about that around if we just called it software design instead of software engineering, I think it would clear out a lot of the people that want to call themselves it because they have an apprehension to thinking that they're designers instead of engineers. Anyway, this is your unpopular opinion, not mine. Sorry.
Sorry.
What do you think that's going to look like? Like, do you feed an LLM a design, or do you say, I need a tool that does this? Right?
I've been spending the past few months, I've been spending time in this area. I think what we're going to see is more and more broadly reusable. Think of it in terms of more reusable components. Right now, you can have an HTTP router, right? Because the task of receiving a well-formed HTTP request and then multiplexing that to different handlers, depending on certain properties, it's all pretty well defined. But the existence of HTTP routers is predicated on a well-defined problem space that you can, engineer a precise thing around. If you think of a router as like an HTTP router as like a subsystem that you can write generic reusable software for, the span of things that we can make agents, LLM, AI-based agents for, the things that they can potentially cover, it's just a larger set. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see engineering shift towards, and also the way that you power those and the way that you reconfigure those and the way that you compose them into functioning applications. Software will look different when the unit of composition looks so different and can cover so many other areas.
I just wonder if the current angle of